Chancellor Mickelson, President Calhoun, honored guests, grantors, parents and friends, good afternoon. I'm very honored and humbled to stand before you as the recipient of this great distinction. I receive it proudly, not only for myself, but on behalf of many students and colleagues who have done so much, who have contributed so much to my development and the development of Maple Leaf educational systems over the past 18 years. Behind an honor like this, there is always a story. Today, I would like to share with you some of my story. I do this not to promote myself, but in the hope that my story will encourage those of you who today, as new graduates, are thinking about your own future and where your career path may lead. My path began in China and come back to China. But in its early course, it had taken me in many different directions and to many places around the world. Then in 1993, I came to Canada as a new immigrant with a very young family. I had 3 early experiences in Canada that set the course of my life and the career path, and that bring me here today. I think of them as finding direction, finding compassion, and finding a goal. Before I came to Canada, my business had allowed me to travel a lot in Asia, in Europe, and throughout the US. I was growing in success as a businessman, but in my travels, I never really knew where I was. I had poor sense of direction and often didn't really pay attention where I was, just to the business I was there to conduct. From the moment I arrived in Canada, I realized that for the first time, I knew where I was. I could find my way around in my new city of Vancouver. It helped that the mountains and the sea were such obvious landmarks, but it was much more. I experienced a freedom that comes from knowing where I was and where I was going. I had found my clear sense of direction. One of the earliest experiences my family had in our new city was quite traumatic. While I was out setting up my business, my wife was in our new home with our 3 young daughters. My daughters were very excited with the open space in our Canadian home and were running inside when the inevitable happened and one of my daughters fell and hurt her head very badly. My wife was very upset, spoke no English, had no way to contact me these other days with no cell phones. What she did know was that our daughter needed to go to the hospital. By the time I go to the hospital, my wife told me that she had been standing on the street outside of our house, holding our daughter who was bleeding. when a stranger stopped and put her and my daughter into his car and drove them to the hospital emergency center. He helped them to get inside and saw that my daughter received the operation, and then he left. I was so moved by a stranger who would do this. This was a level of strangers caring for others that I first experienced in Canada. That man did this for my daughter just because he saw that it needed to be done without any hesitation. This reminded me of the stories of Dr. Norman Bethune, the great Canadian that every Chinese learns about, the great man who helped the sick and injured people during the Second Sino-Japanese War and saved so many lives. To this date, I do not know who that man was, but that experience had a very great impact on me. It gave me the awareness of the power of compassion. It gave me the determination to make my own contributions to the lives of others and to the country. The third experience came when I observed my children in school in Canada. The learning was so profound and so different from everything I knew of education in China. On the surface, it looks very simple, and yet it was clear that they were being challenged to engage in the learning, to question and express their own ideas, to be very actively involved. I believe that this style of educating children was very important in preparing them for the future. And I realized that children in China needed the opportunity to experience this style of learning. In realizing this need in China, I had determined my goal. My goal was to introduce this model of education to China. Maple Leaf Education created 5 firsts in its early system development. These firsts are all things that take pride in having accomplished. These firsts are now all become success steps on the pathway to what Maple Leaf is today. But each of these firsts also represents the very great challenges in moving a goal to the reality. There were many times in the first day of this venture, I was confused, I was refused, criticized, and daunted. There are many times, even today, when it is so clear that our model has been success for so many students that we are sometimes still criticized, questioned, and doubted. Occasionally, you got purposely personal attacked as well. With success and public profile, it is easy to be a target for others to do that. I believe to be successful in business, in education, you must start with a strong goal, a clear vision. My vision from the very beginning was to open a school that would be recognized as one of the best in the world, where students could learn in one of the best program models, combining Chinese and Western elements, offering them an international academic perspective while maintaining strong national traditions and culture. In the beginning, there were many pressures that resulted in small students' numbers and therefore financial challenges. There were political challenges questioning our true objectives. There was criticism for bringing the invasion of Western culture to China. And from parents, there was doubt that we could meet our promise of providing access to Western universities. That's back to many years ago. These early times were very difficult and required a very big personal investment, mainly my own very hands-on involvement. To see my vision realized meant that I needed to be involved at every level and every day. But I knew that was the right direction. This was the right thing to do. This was what I needed to do to give back to the countries of China and Canada. Maple Leaf persisted through those early years. We struggled to open a narrow space that allowed for our survival. Through sticking to our goal, we have been able to turn our vision into a unique educational system and an innovative educational model. Through the early struggle, we have opened up a very significant space for education, innovation, and I'm proud to see that many of our early innovations are now being adapted throughout China in the private and public school system. In my 18 years of commitment to Maple Leaf education, I have come to the conclusion that once you have determined your goal, you should not easily give up. With hard work, you must strive to achieve that goal, facing problems directly and not avoiding problems. By being committed to finding solutions, anything is possible, and you will be successful. I said in the beginning of this speech how honored I am to receive this great distinction, Honorary Doctorate of Laws. I'm especially grateful to receive it from Royal Roads University. This is an institution that has built its reputation on innovative and creative educational practices. It has faced challenges, and I'm sure some criticism along the way, and yet it stands today as a solid model of quality and progressive education. I feel great connection to Royal Roads University through what I think is a shared approach to education, to business, to risk, to innovation, and to consistently looking for new approaches, all to benefit individual students and to create connections between all peoples. To those of you who are graduating today, I hope that you will hear my story as one of the hard work and the challenging leading to success and fulfillment, not only for me, but also for thousands of Maple Leaf graduates around the world. My journey so far has been rich and rewarding. I choose education as my ultimate destination, and this is a choice I do not regret. Thank you for your attention today. Thank you.